All dropped down lower yesterday in towards those equal lows which we were talking about in yesterday's market outlook, and this has caused me to profit around 9.4k on this fresh $200,000 challenge. Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another daily market update where we discuss the major dollar pairs and of course gold. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start off with EURUSD, and then we're going to dive into the other major dollar pairs as well. Now looking here at euro dollar, we can see that we've seen an initial reaction to the overall daily imbalance candle which we had over here. Now you guys remember that after tapping into that monthly area of supply here on the higher time frame, which is this imbalance candle over here, and taking out the liquidity highs, which is this high, and this high, we saw a daily change of character here on the daily time frame. Now this daily change of character, this first one, confirmed that the market wanted to head down lower. We see a push down, retracement, push down lower, again another break, retracement, again another break down lower, and now again we are just seeing a fresh retracement. So as long as the current fractal high holds over here, I'm still very interested in just simply looking for some further downside here on Euro USD. For myself, there are still equal lows underneath all of these ascending lows over here, which I preferably would want to see taken out. And as far as the dollar index also remains bullish here, I am still interested in further upside from the dollar, meaning further downside from Euro USD. Now, yesterday into the New York session, we saw some further downside here on euro dollar. Overall, nothing really too clean that I'm looking out for myself. But what we have seen is somewhat of a market structure shift here with this break of structure up, break of structure down, and now this here's your high, this here's your low. So we could potentially see some further downside. So for further downside in towards the rest of today, what I would be looking for is the current fractal low here on the 1 hour to break with some momentum, then look to get in on the retracement and look to further short this. If this area of demand holds, then keep in mind that your USD could head up higher. So wait for the current fractal low to break, wait for the retracement, and if you want the highest conviction play or the highest probability play, then short on the second fractal low break, for example. But myself, still positioned in Euro USD shorts and still very interested in looking for further downside from Euro dollar. Now, another reason why I'm looking for further downside from Euro USD is because the dollar index is still bullish here on the daily time frame. As we can see, the current fractal low is still holding, and for you guys who have not been following the other daily market outlooks, all we're looking for pretty much here is a push up, a retracement, a push up, a retracement, a push up, and now again we're seeing a retracement in towards what? In towards the 0.5 fib retracement level. Again, you can see 0.5 fib getting rejected. This demand zone or this imbalance candle, this sub for the buy, playing out as an area of demand and looking to see this push the market up higher. Now going into the 1 hour time frame, we can see that we filled up the gap. This is also an update that I gave yesterday. As we can see, we fill up the gap over here, and from there we see a V-shaped reversal in towards the highs, indicating to me that there is a lot of bullish momentum. Now, after this, we saw a retracement in towards the downside, and if we now really want to see that follow through on the dollar, we need to break the current fractal high, see maybe a retracement or a tap into this demand zone, and then see another high break. The second high break, the second fractal high break, that for me will be the confirmation that we are ready to continue pushing up higher. So overall, still bullish on the dollar as long as the current fractal low over here is respected. I am, however, keeping in mind, looking here at the weekly time frame, that if we look at the previous moments that Trump became president over here, where we saw before his presidency a phase of accumulation, then into his presidency, because this is November 2016, the manipulation and then the distribution, you can see a very similar kind of like fake out here on the lows, which gave us a retracement of around 4%. And then overall some further downside continuation. So I'm not saying that that is going to happen, but I am keeping in mind that something similar could play out, that we could see one more swipe of the lows, for example, before a real reversal back in towards the upside. So keeping that in mind, but I would only look at that specific scenario if we were to break the current fractal low, as long as this current fractal low is respected and we are obviously still inside of this demand zone. And let's say the 1 hour time frame gives us that fractal break with the break of this current fractal high, then I'll be looking just to continue longing this up higher, taking out these descending highs over there. So that's what I have for the dollar. Going into AUD/USD, AUD/USD pushed up higher once again. Yesterday, however, a daily bearish candle closure. Overall, a little bit messy price action here on AUD/USD. Nothing really too clean for myself that I'm really looking at trading. I'm not a big fan of this overall. Obviously, now we've seen a retracement in towards the downside. If you're looking for longs on this, wait for the current fractal high to go and then look to get in again. But personally, not trading AUD/USD or NZD/USD just because of the overall kind of like messy nature of price that we have over here. For me, it is not clear. We've had an overextended leg in towards the highs on the daily. Obviously, this initial leg, and now we're just seeing kind of like a widening channel, whatever you want to call it, which just looks like absolute shit, if I can just say that out loud. So I'm not a big fan of looking and trading this at the moment. So I would personally just want to stay out of AUD/USD. Overall, if the lower time frame is messy, I often recommend going to the higher time frame. And if you look here at the higher time frame, obviously we are still bullish, with this being the current fractal high, this being the current fractal low. But overall, also here on the weekly time frame, I don't see any clear areas of demand. On the daily time frame, I don't really see any clear areas of demand as well. All I see is kind of like some ascending lows that we have over here. So I preferably would want to see some more manipulation from AUD/USD before any further upside myself. Going into GBPUSD, we can see that GU has also been manipulating. I'm still in those shorts, which I talked about yesterday as well, with the current fractal high and the current fractal low here being intact. So the current fractal high is still being respected. So further downside is still what I'm looking for on GBPUSD. Obviously, on the weekly time frame, what happened is that we swept the overall weekly high over here. We swept the liquidity, and then on the daily time frame, we got the bearish change of character over here. So therefore, just looking for that downside continuation. And obviously, if the daily fractal high were to break, meaning this structural high over here, then you would be looking at potential longs again. But even then, I'm just waiting for the dollar index to really show its hand, and I will be following the dollar index as well when trading GU, as GU moves in tandem with the euro as well. But looking here at the weekly time frame, we, for example, tapped into this weekly imbalance. So obviously the shorts are getting, let's say, higher risk as we have tapped into demand zone. But as long as the daily area of, or the daily fractals are in control, I'll be looking for some further downside. So now what you could do is you could look at the 4 hour, you could look at the 1 hour. Looking here at the 1 hour time frame, what I like about this is that we grab liquidity above this high. And then here we see the market structure shift. So let's see if we can break this current fractal low. If this current fractal low were to break, then I would be interested in getting involved with some more shorts. So that's what I have for GU. Going into NZD/USD, what we can see there is similar to AU, is that we sold off yesterday. To be honest, kind of expected from NU, in the sense that the daily fractal is still bearish, with this being the current fractal high, this being the current fractal low. We've made a retracement into the 0.5 fib. Obviously, the 0.5 fib getting rejected. So the daily time frame makes sense for a deeper retracement, because if you were to, let's say, view this as one big impulse, then obviously there's still room towards the 0.5 fib and towards this overall sell before the buy as well. So for myself, still interested in some further downside from NU. However, the 4 hour not looking good at all. The 1 hour time frame also not looking good at all. So therefore, just staying a little bit away as well from this NZD/USD and also from AUD/USD, and focusing actually the most on those EURUSD shorts, which I personally prefer. But also USD Swiss and USD Yen, guys. USD Swiss itself still looking for further upside. Yesterday we saw a beautiful reaction to this daily over here, the sell before the buy candle, this imbalance candle. You can see we tap in towards that straight away, push back out of it. Sadly, it's been selling off again, but I'm still looking for the upside continuation. Overall, we have a valid fractal break here with the current fractal high, and this being the current fractal low after breaking this high over here. So ultimately what you see here is push down, pull back, push down, and then a push up. And now we're just seeing a push down again, and we're looking for the next push up. So we've now retraced into the 0.5 fib. So now what you want to look for is the lower time from trend shift again. And I'm favoring another long move on this thing. What I like about it is that here we swept the liquidity underneath this little mini range, because in the push up there's no liquidity in itself. So that's why we liquidate the range low. Then we see the V-shape reversal, a lot of buyers coming in, and now to confirm that we actually want to head up higher, because look, there's no real clean demand zone over here. Yes, you have kind of like these two imbalance candles which are acting as an area of demand. Let's see if there is demand, if that 0.5 fib can push the market up higher. So I'll wait for the current fractal high to break. If that breaks, then I'll be looking for some further upside as well. Obviously I'm still in those swing positions long, so let's see how that plays out. Then UJ pushed down lower as well. Actually, this is pretty good. What I'm ultimately looking for now is for the current fractal high to break again. If that breaks again, then I have confirmation to go long once again. Obviously, for now, bulls are still in control. So what I'm still looking for are just the longs to play out. Very similar to USD Swiss yesterday. Equal lows over here. Equal lows get swept. And you see the V-shaped reversal up higher. However, no fractal structure shift as the fractal high here remained respected. And this supply pushed the market down lower once again. Now what I'm looking for pretty much is just for the 4 hour. That's the ideal confirmation that I would now like to see. So that means current fractal high to break and then look for that further upside. I'm not interested in shorts yet, but it could still head down lower as we, for example, still have demand open over here. We have maybe some equal lows over here. So keep in mind that it could head down lower, but if this current fractal high breaks, that for me would be enough confirmation that there's enough demand here and that the market is ready to push up higher once again. And then last of all, of course, gold. So gold was a beautiful short that I took yesterday. Again, as you can see, on a fresh $200,000 challenge. The reason that gold dropped was here. Gold extended its decline after falling more than 2% on Wednesday on signs that there will be fewer Federal Reserve rate cuts than previously anticipated. Obviously, the Federal Reserve has been talking about keeping interest rates high throughout the year. Now, tomorrow, or today, excuse me, in the afternoon, Powell will be speaking on interest rates, so keep an eye on that as that will move gold heavily, but also as trade tensions between the US and China have happened, and there is kind of like a flow of money into the risk on assets and out of those risk off assets. So that's the reason why gold has been dumping. And additionally, this morning, there's also been talks of 0% tariffs on, I think, US goods into India, which again has caused gold to drop just now in the past hour as well. So yeah, overall a nice short. Should have held it longer, I guess, but last night I was okay. Let me just close the positions again. I don't want to kind of like get this account into any drawdown, and on these challenges I also always take higher risk, so therefore just limiting my exposure to the markets. But overall for gold, now that we've taken out the lows, because again, obviously this was what we were anticipating and expecting for us to take out these ascending lows. Now that we've taken that out, you can start looking for longs soon, as we're now inside an area of daily demand, which is a very strong area of daily demand, because here we liquidated the equal ascending lows. We saw the big V-shaped reversal in towards the highs. We've taken out the liquidity. So now what you need to see is the lower time frame confirmation being the 4 hour, and that would be the current fractal high to break. So now we need to see kind of like a V-shaped reversal come into the markets at some point in time. When that's going to happen, not sure, but if we do see that V-shaped reversal, break the current fractal high, we then created an area of demand, and then I'll be looking to buy on the second high break. So that's it for gold, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I wish you all a fantastic trading day and speak soon.